So here I am setting up a Deutsche Bahn Class 120 electric for a run on a fictional line that's included with the basic install of Loksim. It's the only locomotive they give you, actually, even though they give you schedules for ICEs and freight trains and various things. Although you could probably use a 120 on a freight train. So this is the Neustadt to Altenstein route. And I'm waiting here for my departure. I've already put the reverser in forward with Control R, put up my pantograph with Control B, switched on my master switch with H, switched on my lights with Control L, and now I'm releasing my brakes with 7. And I'm going to open the throttle with the arrow keys. It's a very complicated startup process, actually. The Indo-C acknowledgement is I. You don't get any warning. You just must use it whenever you pass a signal or speed sign, otherwise you're shut down. The CFIT acknowledgement is the space bar. So, in overall terms, operationally, this is a pretty nice simulator. The graphics are much nicer than they look here. I had to turn the quality way down to do the video. But these graphics are very nice, actually, when they're turned up. I wouldn't call them photoreal, but they're certainly as good as Oron Trains, probably better. You could compare them maybe to BVE, or at least OpenBVE. The sound is also pretty good. I don't know if it's as good as OpenBVE, but again, it's better than Oron Trains. Might be able to compare it to Microsoft Train Simulator, perhaps. And because it's a German train and it's realistically simulated, it's fairly challenging, actually. I had to practice for a few days to do this, because even though I know how to play RailSim pretty well, I had to relearn all the key assignments for all the different procedures. Because if you're juggling an Indo-C cab signaling system, the CFA, and simply the relatively unfamiliar controls of a German train, if you're American, then it's quite hard. Your on-time performance is pretty... I wouldn't say that you would be thrown out of the game for bad on-time performance, but you are held to the minute. So it's not as hard as Denja de Go, but it is difficult nevertheless. So I really punched the throttle as soon as the cab signal cleared there, because I wanted to get to the station early. As you'll see at the very end, I end up being minute late, actually, although I was early pulling into this station. Neustadt Zoo. So here we are at Neustadt Zoo. You get your highball from the computer there over on the left, which gives you your schedule. Supposedly there's supposed to be a whistle sound effect, a departure, conductor's whistle when it's time to leave, but I haven't found that here, and I suspect that maybe the sound file's missing. Not sure. When they say a full install of this from the website, they don't really mean a full install. They mean sort of a demo install that works just fine as long as you only drive the Class 120 and the few routes they give you. You basically have to download everything else, again, from the website. So it's not like it's very hard stuff to find. But if you want the ICE to do the ICE routes, for example, you need to download an ICE. So there's my highball. I just know because I am being told the next station is a different one. So I release the brakes with 7. Open up the throttle again. And I'm trying to push it pretty hard, again, to stay on time. My cab signal tells me I can do the line speed, which here is actually 100 kilometers per hour. Slow for a Class 120, but if you consider this is supposed to be sort of a branch line out in the middle of nowhere, then it's another story. Toot the horn to get over the crossing there. One of these crossings breaks down from time to time. It's interesting because I've chosen random conditions for this simulation, so I don't really know what I'm driving myself into. The traffic is random, the signals are random, the weather is random, and whether that dodgy crossing up ahead has a problem is also unknown. When it breaks down, they give you a flagman, just like in real life. Hopefully in real life. All these kilometer posts are accurate, so you need to use them to plan your braking and acceleration and so on. Luckily, they're readable pretty much, not obscured or poorly textured or anything. It's a very good thing. When you brake in this, you have a choice either of the 1 key for blended braking, the 2 key for air brakes only, or the 3 key for regeneratives. I've gotten into the habit of using blended just for the sake of avoiding confusion. So 1 to apply, 7 to release. My next braking will have to be for this 70 kilometers per hour speed restriction up ahead. There's the SIFA again. But I also have to brake and acknowledge the indice, the I key. Otherwise, my brakes go into emergency. And it is very, very sensitive. I find that RailSim is easier. I don't know if it's more realistic necessarily, but it's easier to handle the indice on RailSim because it flashes to warn you, hey, click your indice. There's the SIFA again. SIFA is a very German thing. I've said in other videos that it's a dead man control. Every 20 seconds you have to acknowledge that you're still conscious, essentially. I have to acknowledge the speed sign here again. So you can see the indice transpondered on the track there. Always remember to acknowledge your signals and speed signs in this, otherwise your brakes are going into emergency. And you have to reset the whole system and you lose 2 minutes or so. You're going to be late on the schedules they give you. The frame rate on this curve is always a little off. Here it's really, really bad because I'm running the open broadcaster, but it's never particularly wonderful actually. I think it's just because the graphics are so pretty. And I've had trouble turning them down enough. Another thing that can catch you is this yard must be taken at 40 kilometers per hour, not 70. And you also have to acknowledge that signal. Even if the signal is completely clear, as it appears to be here, other than that they're going to put you on a siding. There's a 40 kilometers per hour speed restriction through here you have to be aware of. Otherwise, again, your brakes are going into emergency. So here's a crossing. This is not the one that's dodgy. This one is generally reliable. Budenheim? I think that's what you call this town. I'm having trouble reading it because the graphics are so bad. Again, the graphics would not normally be this bad. But I don't have all the station names memorized. There we go, Budenheim. I was right. So, pulling into Budenheim, the second stop, having to brake more than once here. Again, I'm getting a little bit better at driving simulated trains since starting this playthrough series, but I'm still a little bit rusty. And I'm out of time. See you in the next video.